Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Serious faces.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And
All right. So now, all right. Hello, everybody. This is Lloyd and Sara Carter, and we are having a socially distant moment with Daniel and Mary Lemke that I'm sure all of you in the church know, and they are fixing to leave us. And we just wanted to have a few minutes with them, our great friends, to be able to ask them a few questions and just have a few minutes of fellowship that we can share with everyone else.
All right. Haven't even started and already I'm tearing up. Okay, so how long have each of you lived in Turlock?
I'll go first because I got here first. I arrived in Turlock in 2013. So
7 years.
7, yeah.
And then I got here in 2016, at the end of 2016.
Okay. And is that when you moved here, Daniel? Not when you came through on your bike tour, correct?
It's a good question, because technically I did come through here in April of 2016
Okay.
on my bicycle tour and saw Mary in the front row at church and had to come back. Just kidding, but seriously.
Okay, so real quick, if people aren't familiar with what your bicycle tour is, although I'm sure they are, 1 to 2 sentences, if you can, of what that was.
Yeah, I did a 15-month bicycle tour, circumferencing the United States, raising awareness about human trafficking. And yes, it was a pedal bike. Yes, I was by myself. And there is a book called Kissing Lions. Shameless plug.
It's like you've done that before.
All right. So what are some of your favorite things about the community and or Cornerstone?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna tear up now. Wow. I think for me, just the family away from my family has been like super important and like has really helped me develop, and like really that's what got me to like, I guess, stay at Turlock and stay at Cornerstone, was just that inviting feel and yeah, just that feeling of being cared for and that you're wanted, and friendship, really.
For me, I'd say that Turlock is, for me, and Mary and I were talking about this the other night, how much of a foundation building place this area is. And just both Mary and I came from situations where there was a lot of stuff going on in our lives that we just needed a place to go and just kind of relax and rebuild our foundation. Not saying that like our foundation was bad or anything, but more along the lines of like, just tend to the cracks and the mold and the things that have been in our life, or to put it into farmers' terms, like to re-till and re-amend the soil that our spiritual mind and soul just needed. Like, I mean, for me personally, coming off of the bicycle tour, I mean, heavy stuff that I was dealing with throughout that. And then being able to come here, and I was expecting one thing, but totally God just made me and gave me something else. He gave me a family with the church. Like, I have never been a part of a church body like Cornerstone. I mean, I grew up in mega churches. I grew up not really serving, but more just going to hang out and be with friends and just be a part of that style. But to actually be connected to people in the church and to regain and to learn from, I didn't know that a church family could do that. I mean, sadly, but that's how it is. And I think Turlock for me was just so rejuvenating and so fulfilling in ways that I could have never thought it would be. I mean, to go back to that farmer's analogy, I mean, it's like, it is incredible to see how God designed the soil, the thing that we walk on every single day, how he designed it to need rest, to need proper nutrients, and God gave us that with the proper nutrients. And to put that into real life scenarios, like he gave us nutrients with the church and with people believing in Mary and I's dreams and supporting us, and just believing in the mission that God has put on our hearts, and just a network of people that have literally, like, Mary and I have an idea. All right, community, let's figure out how this idea is going to work. And that has been so nutrient packed for Mary and I. That has just been so beautiful to see and for us to grow in. And it's super bittersweet for Mary and I to have to go, but at the same time, I think from this we've been able to take that rejuvenation and hopefully be able to take that back home to Colorado. And just,
yeah, I would just like to say, like, after Daniel, I came here like really broken as well, and just the way that God has been able to like use people in this community to help me grow and build myself and become like a new me after like losing a loved one. I didn't know like who I was or what I was doing or what God's plans could possibly be. And yeah, Daniel said that beautifully with the soil, and just like the way that God just used people and how he brought new people into our life through the church, really. But also through like just meeting so many people, and like people trusting me with their little ones helped me like just really grow in my trust for other people, as well as people began to trust me, and just be more open and willing to take risk. I learned a lot about leadership, I think, here through the church that like I never had before. Kind of being a middle child of a lot of kids, I just kind of stayed in that safe place. But like just different ministries in the church, and Amanda and Greg just really seeing something in me and like pushing me towards that. Like, Mary, where do you want to be? What do you want to do? Where do you want to grow? And just like being given the opportunity and not knowing like that I could do it, but somebody doing that. And like just almost everybody just did that for me. I don't know, and just like loved me where I was at, loved me when I was really broken, but then also loving me through the process of like becoming a new person. And I'm gonna cry.
That
It's
is
just so special.
Yeah. Well, you said that so nicely, Mary, but coming back to Daniel's analogy of resting the soil. So in a few years, when you need rest again and that cycle has come about, we can expect you to come back.
I mean, I guess according to the analogy, yeah.
Thank you, guys. So what are some of the ways that you guys have been involved at Cornerstone, individually or together?
I definitely started out with just like the children's ministry at church, and then I really started going or staying at the church through the college ministry that was going on when I first came, and that just really was cool and developed my leadership because it shifted and changed so much. And like when it did, I was there and I was available and I was yearning to like use my gift in leadership. So I was able to lead that group for a long time, and that was really special, and built a lot of friendships through that. And what other stuff?
Children's ministry.
The children's ministry, yes, and been really consistent there. And then also like on top of that, being able to work for Amanda Gonzalez at the preschool has been amazing as well. And just kind of a really well-rounded like experience at the church, being able to like work there during the week and see how the leadership does things as I've popped in and out of the office, and being a part of those little things. And then also just being able to communicate with the parents and growing in my gifts as a teacher have been really awesome. And then together, just having people believe in us. And as we brought up the coffee cart, with Justin's help and leadership really, and him just helping us get there has been fun.
That's how our friendship actually started. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add? Worship?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I got into doing the worship team, but somehow I ended up being on the worship team, and I've loved it ever since. It's been incredible being able to expand my skills as a musician. Like, I don't know, before Cornerstone, I just like to play just for myself and randomly. And it was super cool to be able to experience a team of worshipers that just, I don't know, that was just really neat to be able to be on the worship team. And then, yeah, with the help of Justin and Greg, and just being able to get the coffee cart going. I mean, that was a long process, but we finally got it going. And even with it going, like, man, we've hit so many roadblocks even after it's got going, whatever. Yeah, so it's been incredible just to serve in our community. And like I mentioned before, I'd never been a part of a church service where I was able to be a part of it realistically and be there with the community. I was a part of a community before, but not with the community. And so this was super incredible just to see how serving helps the church function.
All right, so what you're talking about, oh, I'm sorry, Mary.
Oh, and I would just say, like, I think in those roles of being able to serve the church, it's just like really expanded and developed our, following Christ and what that looks like in that role too.
That's awesome.
All right, so while we're talking about being part of the community and serving the community, what do you feel is your calling to relocate to Colorado, and plans and dreams once you get there?
It's a really good question. So as of right now, our plans and hopes are to move to Colorado for my family is in Colorado, so part of it is moving for family. The other part of it is moving for ministry. We have an opportunity to serve and start a business that will help further ministry with people in need. And I think it's going to be an area where Mary and I can really expand God's kingdom. Also, there is a large network of people that I am involved with that is able to help pursue and push and basically move the ministry forward in a direction that Mary and I really want to move it. So having that backing is one of the biggest reasons why we are moving. And I think yeah,
Yeah, I feel like God's really testing a lot of us here and trying to grow us and trusting that this is his will for your guys, and this is, moving forward, because selfishly, we all just want to say, no. You have that support here, you have that family here, and we want to keep you here, but we're working on that.
And that's why it's such a bittersweet moment, because, and this is where trusting in God is one of the hardest things, because I was talking with my little brother who is in Indonesia, and he's just so on fire for Christ. But it was incredible talking to him, saying like, dude, I don't know what direction God's calling me. Like, I feel like God's calling me to Colorado, but I also feel like he's calling me to stay. So it's kind of this like, what do I do? And he just looked at me and said, Daniel, God will use you wherever you're at. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was one of those just aha moments of like, you don't need a super giant billboard sign of God saying, move here or do this or go do that, or this is what I'm calling you to do, or blah, 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 blah. Like spelling out every modicum of minutes that you are going to live your life out. Like God's not going to do that. God's going to call you, give you a big picture idea, and you need to chase after that. Mm-hmm. And basically God's given Mary and I the mission, and we know what the mission is. And so we just got to chase after that. And whether we're here or there or in, I don't know, Kansas or Kentucky or wherever, I don't know, wherever we're at.
Like, your first perked Mary up.
Wherever we're at, God, that's just basically moral of the story, is the conclusion that we had to come to, is that God will use us wherever we're at.
I think for me, like, it was not easy at all when Daniel started to bring this up, and we have started to like play with the idea and think about it. I immediately was like, no way, no, I can't go. And then I I was like, okay, Lord, like soften my heart towards your desires, and it's really hard to leave the things that are comfortable.
Yeah.
And especially when you're loved so dearly in a place. And like, I just think that, oh gosh, it's hard. I've cried about it. I just think that as I've started to like pray about it and ask God to like direct me and direct Daniel, and that's a hard thing in marriage. We have to do things together because it's really easy to decide things when it was just me or just Daniel. Moving here from Kansas, it was easy. Daniel going on his bicycle tour alone, you just have to think about yourself. But when we started to be like, why isn't God telling us the same thing at the same time, and just being in a place of waiting for him to like direct and lead, even if you're like, I'm not hearing anything, I don't know, what does that mean? If you don't hear something, you just stay, or what, and so that's honestly why we've waited as long as we have, even though we've been talking about it for months. Like, the idea and the desire was there, but just really waiting on the Lord to like reveal the right timing. And it took all that time for him to just soften my heart towards the idea and just allow me to see that, like, not you're finished here by any means, because you're going to come back, but it was like, you're healed you're ready to go and speak into new people's lives. You're ready for the next chapter.
Wow.
You know, like, not that like, I don't even know how to say it, but you know, not that we're done here completely, but that just the softening of my heart towards it just showed me more that like, you're comfortable here and you are loved here, but in Colorado it's going to be challenging for you, and you need that. You need to be challenged in a new way. You need to love people, new people, in a new way.
Wow.
Somebody else there needs the kind of love that you've been able to give here and receive here, you know? And I'm just like, okay, I don't want to, but I will, because that's what we want. That's what Daniel and I want, is like, we just want to be willing. We want to have willing hearts to like go to Colorado or go to Africa. I hope I get to go back there, but you know, somewhere else, you know. And if it means like, and we were so open, like, God, show us we can stay here. Show us that there's people here that still need us, and we will. Like, even if it's sometimes hard to be in Turlock too, because we're like, we want to go rock climbing, or we want to do the things we want, and that's not here. But God, show us the people you want us to here. And he did for a long time, you know. And we met new wonderful people and had wonderful relationships. I think like really deep and really wide relationships, you know, like, which like we're gonna hold on to forever, you know. So yeah.
Well, you said that entirely too well for me to offer any sort of argument. So. That was beautiful. Okay, with that in mind, how can your Cornerstone family be praying for you guys during this time, and as you get settled? What are some specific prayers that we can be praying for you?
One that I know of that I found out yesterday or the other day when we were moving the bus from Becky's house to our house is like, wow, that's terrifying. Daniel, like, I just want to pray that, you know, we get this big bus to the right spot with no
Those of you who
I don't know, like nothing to happen to it, you know.
For those of you who don't know, our moving vehicle is a bus.
Yeah.
An old bus.
So that would be one. Just like we like.
So traveling mercies is a good prayer.
Arrive safely, and that we get there. Yeah.
I would say a huge prayer request for us would be, this transition is not easy. It's so bittersweet for us, and we are. I don't even know how to word it in a way that, because it's such an emotional feeling that I'm not good with expressing a feeling, but right? But I just want prayer for this transition and just the emotions that we'll be going through, both Mary and I's minds and souls, that we just want I don't know, help me out. I don't know how to word it.
That's good. One that
peace in the transition.
Yeah. Thank
and
you.
one thing for like me, I think, just to be like really open, is like, we're going back to where like Daniel grew up, and to Daniel's family and Daniel's friends. Like, a fear in my heart is just like, you know, we've been kind of together so much here, and it's just been us, and like we don't have to like worry about like sharing too much. And so I think my fear is just that like I'm gonna feel lost, and Daniel's gonna feel so like comfortable there, and I'm not. So I think a prayer for that would just like be praying for like my fearful heart, I guess, and our marriage, that like this move and like what God has for us in the future is like which I know he has good things for our future, but that it's just gonna be like good for our marriage too. And that's a prayer I've been praying, like, if this is God's will, like it will be, you know. So more prayer for that would be wonderful.
That's great. All right. So do you each have, or do you guys have any favorite, like a favorite memory or a funny story or anything that you just want to recall? I know I didn't ask you ahead of time, so.
Ooh.
Any funny stories about people?
Oh, about
That we-
people?
About people in our, of course, always nice. Just
Well,
like
you,
fun
Mary.
stories. Oh yeah, fun stories about people at church. You know, like fun experiences we've had with people. Golly.
I'm
You're drawing a blank. I should have that.
well, I'm trying to come up with some that are good for right now, because most of them involve like adventuring with rock climbing or adventuring with camping trips and boating and just game night, poker nights, like just hanging out. Like there's so many memories, and it's like, how do I pick one? Like for me, just being a part of a community that's just so willing just to hang out and be a part of your life has been incredible. You know, fond memories of just learning and expanding just my knowledge. Like, it's been awesome. Man.
Yeah, I don't know, some really fun things that I was thinking of with just the way that I was celebrated, or me and Daniel were both celebrated for our wedding, like the parties that got thrown for us, my surprise birthday party that so many people from church came to was so special. Was that last year? The year before? I don't know. Thanks for coming. I forgot about it. That was super fun. And then just, I don't know, like I guess all the memories of living with Matt and Becky, and just watching their children like grow up and just being able to be like so close to them. That's probably going to be like the hardest thing for me, honestly, like just being able to like be their second mom a little bit, and really like just watching all of the people at church's kids grow up has just been like super special for me. And just like, I used to nanny little Charlotte, and now she's like in school, and she was such a baby when I watched her, and like just all that fun and I don't know, fun memories with Amanda and Greg, and like hanging out at their house, and them just being like super welcoming to me and like inviting me into their family a lot of times when taking care of grandma with Christy. Her and I like tag teaming that, and just like growing really close to the Oppenheisen family in that, and just like sharing a lot of memories with them has been special. Can't think of any like really crazy funny one. Me and Christy have taken a lot of fun trips together and grown in our friendship. And me and Christy actually arrived in Turlock about the same time, and we just clicked. And like her and I were talking the other day just about like the journey that God has like really brought us both on, and how like he was there when we were like aching and hurting together, and we were there with each other through that, and then like bringing us through like dating, like meeting boys and dating, like, and now we're both married, and it's just like so cool, like that her and I have been able to like share so much of life's journey, and like how he developed us in this last several years. Yeah, those are some really fun ones, and I'm sure there's a lot more like rock climbing and hiking adventures and stuff that we've been on. Yeah.
Awesome.
Really fun.
All right, so one last thing. So what would you say to your Cornerstone family if you got to say goodbye in person?
I love you. I love you so much, and I thank you for being a part of my family, being a part of this journey with Mary and I. you have grown with us and grown me personally. I think I can say you've also grown Mary as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we love the bejeebers out of you guys, and we thank you so much for just believing in Mary and I, for supporting Mary and I. And then I'd give him a big old hug. Coronavirus down, like give him a big old hug, because I love you all.
Yeah.
And I thank you for everything and every opportunity you've given both Mary and I.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll second that. Just like, thank you for believing in us and loving on us, you know?
You guys love hard, and it's awesome.
All right. Okay, I think we'll call that the end.